Hello and welcome to Redpill Rundown. Quick note that my last quick rundown has been removed from YouTube, and you can find it on my BitChute channel along with other videos not found on YouTube. Anyways, it's been a little while since I made a firearms focused quick rundown. I've covered the AR-15 in my first video a little over a year ago, basic firearm safety, and some aspects of firearms in their role of self-defense weapons. Now it's time to focus on our particular type of firearm, the handgun, though fair warning there will be some oversimplifications. Would you like to learn some basic knowledge in a short amount of time? No worries, because here's your quick rundown on handguns. A quick reminder on firearm safety: always keep your firearm pointed in a safe direction, keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot, keep firearms unloaded unless you're using them at the range or for defensive purposes, and always be aware of your target and what's beyond it. Treat every gun as if it's loaded and you should be fine. Anyways, handguns typically have the following main components: a frame, a barrel, a trigger, a hammer or striker, and a slide or cylinder. Generally speaking, you can divide handguns into two categories, pistols and revolvers, and we'll start with the latter. Revolvers can have different actions: single action only, double action only, and double action single action. Single action only means that you have to manually cock the hammer back yourself before pulling the trigger for every shot. This is what a lot of cowboys would be using in classic western films, and is typically a light, short, and crisp feeling trigger. Double action only is where pulling the trigger both cocks and then releases the hammer, hence the name double action. A double action trigger is typically longer and heavier to pull, which is safer in terms of a revolver carried for self-defense. A double action single action trigger is exactly what it sounds like. You can manually cock the hammer for a shorter and lighter single action trigger pull, or make use of a longer and heavier double action. Single action revolvers typically have loading gates, and double action or double action single action revolvers typically have a cylinder that swings out for loading and ejecting rounds. Revolvers tend to fire more powerful rounds than pistols, but typically have less capacity as most revolvers only hold 5 or 6 rounds of ammunition. One more tip on revolvers: be sure to keep your fingers away from the cylinder, and if you don't, you'll quickly learn a painful lesson that will serve to remind you. The more modern semi-automatic pistol is a bit different from the revolver, though there are some shared traits. While revolvers are fed rounds with a cylinder, pistols are typically fed with an external magazine, not the same as a clip, and feature a slide on top of the frame. Without going into too much detail, pistols can also generally be split up into the same actions as revolvers, though that is a simplification. A 1911, for example, is single action only, where the hammer must be cocked before firing, but apart from the first shot, recoil will move the slide back, ejecting the spent casing, cocking the hammer for the next shot, and loading the next round out of the external magazine. In a sense, a Glock functions in the same way, though again that is a simplification. A Sky CPX-2 is an example of a double action only pistol, in that the hammer will be cocked back and fired with every pull of the trigger, just like the revolver equivalent. And just like a revolver, it will typically be a longer and heavier trigger than a single action only pistol like a 1911. A Sig Sauer P226 is an example of a double action single action pistol, which includes a decocker, which not all double-action single-action pistols will have, but is certainly a welcome feature. It allows you to safely reset the hammer to the double-action position after loading a round into the chamber. This can be useful for self-defense, for the first trigger to be heavier and not pulled accidentally, with subsequent shots having a lighter single-action trigger due to the slide cocking the hammer after each shot, as previously described when I was talking about the 1911. Like the revolver's cylinder, keep your hands off of the slide while shooting, or you may learn firsthand what slide bite is in the context of pistol shooting. That's your quick rundown. Links in the description. See you guys later.